Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Port Charles Chat. This week, we're referring to the weeks of July 29th through August the 2nd. Thank you so much for joining us again, Brandon. And this week, we're going to begin by actually talking about what everyone else is talking about online, and that is the fall of Christina, figuratively and maybe literally at the same time. But let's talk a little bit about the fall of Christina. This is the first time in a long time that I have been really shocked at a scene on General Hospital that I did not see in my mind occurring. um, I was sitting at work and I got a text from Brandon here, and then I had to make an immediate phone call, and he wouldn't tell me what went on, and actually made me wait until I came home to show me this one scene that occurred, and this one scene could change the storyline quite a bit. Um, for those of you who did not see the episode at this particular time on Thursday at evening, probably about 5 minutes prior to it ending, Christina was busy speaking to Ava because Ava has requested that Christina speak on the behalf of her or testify for her side during the custody hearing of Avery. And Christina is not happy about that. She does not want anything to do with Ava, and she is basically saying she's refusing to do this. Well, in the midst of them speaking and arguing back and forth, Ava does give a little touch, but Christina falls out of the window because she trips over a suitcase. And she falls into the Port Charles swimming pool. And that's how we left on Thursday evening. And so once I saw that, like I said, that just brought on so much conversation between Brandon and I. What could possibly happen, because of the repercussions of what has just happened on the scene. And so, first of all, let's talk a little bit about Ava and her role in all of this. Ava, of course, is there. They have words. Ava does not want, of course, for her to fall because Ava knows what's going to happen to her now that she has fallen. However, but what Ava's doing at this point in time is trying to cover for herself. She has not left the room, which I find very interesting. She has stayed there, and she has tried to change the room dynamic, meaning she has changed, taken out the suitcase. Moved the suitcase, and she's trying to make it appear as though Christina was so mad that she has fallen out the window by herself. What were your thoughts about this, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, this was just a shocking time for General Hospital, and I remember just being in shock. I even took a picture of me being, in shock of what had just occurred. But yeah, so in Friday's episode, Ava was trying to sort of undo the evidence, so to speak, and so I think she both didn't want to incriminate herself and also Agent Cates, who had left his luggage that Christina tripped over, so she moved it to the bathroom and started pouring water and ice all over the place, I guess, to make it seem like Christina was unhinged and just randomly throwing things and, decided to, I guess, put water on the floor for some reason, which wasn't mentioned when Dante pressed her.
No, it was not mentioned at all. Ava just kind of assumed that by having these things on the floor, that it would look like that, like you said, that Christina was unhinged while she was in the room itself. But if anything, to me, it just showed that it was planted. The ice was, even though she tried to throw it around, the ice itself is really in basically a straight line. The water or the lack of water that came out of the pitcher, it was not really there. She put shoes there near the window, but those shoes would not actually make someone fall backwards and out a window. Um, so her planting did not help her case. She should have just left the luggage there and just said she tripped over luggage, and that in itself would have probably, you know, that would, not that Ava needed help, but that would have helped Ava. Now, on the other side of things, we've got Christina who has fallen, and what is everyone thinking at that time? There are a whole group of people who witnessed the fall. They didn't know, of course, who it was, and they saw her fall into the swimming pool there. The only person to actually provide any type of initial help was Jocelyn. She is, of course, a trained lifeguard, and so she goes down and she does help Ava. No, she does help. I'm sorry. She does help Christina in the water. She turns her over. Gia at that point in time does realize that he asks how he could help, and she does ask him to go and get a board so that they could so it could support Kristina, and they're able to get her out of the water until the paramedics arrive, and then she does ask someone to call that magical number in order to get help there. And then when the emergency room, when the ER does arrive, and they are able to put they put Kristina in the vehicle, and then Jocelyn, being the sister or stepsister, is able to go and to the hospital with Kristina and be with her. And once they make it to the hospital, Kristina, of course, she well in the ambulance herself, she does ask about her child, but it was really just a one-liner. She asked about her child and her family, and then from there, she doesn't say anything else. It is really Jocelyn who kind of speaks and lets everyone know what's going on when they go to the hospital. So that in itself is what happened for Kristina. Did I leave anything out, Brandon?
No, I mean, I think that was pretty, well, I said, pretty well rounded as to what that is. And I will note, too, that with Ava changing around the evidence, I don't think the shoes were the right fit, no pun intended, in terms of that, because I don't think that's heavy enough of a force to force Christina, out of the window. But I guess the other thing is that, Trina is the one that saw Ava there.
Yes, and at the and one of the things I'm going to talk about, some of the things that kind of went on at the hotel itself, which I found kind of interesting. But one of the things that the police, when they arrived, was asked for witnesses, and Trina volunteered and said what she saw. Now they didn't show the scene where she said, or at least I don't remember seeing the scene where she mentioned to Dante or to Chase that she saw Ava there, not Ava at the window rather. But she does allude to it later when she speaks to Geo, and she does say that she saw Ava up above. All right. And so I kind of want to go over some of the things that, in my mind, even though all this was happening and it was great excitement and everything like that, but some of the holes that they left in a little bit of the storyline, per se, just from this one scene. First of all, there were some questions I had. She fell out of a window, which is supposedly the swimming pool, to the best of my knowledge, was on the roof of the hotel, the Metro Court. She fell down, so obviously this is not a roof. And people online have speculated about, well, maybe it's one part of the roof, and then I guess it's built on more of the hotel is built up on the sides. But anyway, I always thought that was the roof of the Metro Court, so I found that interesting that she fell backwards into it. Um, and then my question is, when the police came, why someone didn't go immediately up to the room? That you would have thought that's the first thing the police would have done once they've. All right, you would have thought that immediately that she would have gone straight up, and well, that someone would have gone straight up to go see who's in this room from the police department, and to find out what went on. But instead, they were all down, of course, in the swimming pool area asking questions. But that would have given time for someone to escape, and no one seemed to do as I thought they would do and go upstairs to see what went on. The question is, where was Carly and Olivia? No one mentioned calling them. They own the hotel. You would think that someone would say someone needs to tell Carly, someone needs to tell Olivia, just to let them know what's going on at that time. And then another question I had was, where was all the glass? I mean, she fell out of a window. Everyone's walking around barefoot downstairs. Where was the glass? And so, and in the pool itself, there was glass there initially. Christina was cut, but Jocelyn didn't have any problems going in the water with all that glass, shards of glass that should have been in the water. And neither did Geo. Interesting that Jocelyn was able to get a cover up to go into the ambulance, but she wasn't able to get her cell phone, and that cell phone's kind of hooked to her at all times. And then the question is, why didn't anyone call anyone in the family? Yes, Sonny was called. Dante did try to call Sonny, and Gio ended up getting through to Sonny. However, the overall question is, Dante didn't mention calling Sam, who is his girlfriend, who is Christina's sister. No one mentioned calling Alexis or called Alexis because Alexa just happened to be at the hospital when all this happened. And no one talked about, and it wasn't until TJ was there later that they talked about calling Molly. So no one thought about calling Christina's family. Christina's got a lot of brothers and sisters. So no one bothered to think about calling any of them. It was more so Sonny was the only one that they called. Brand, did I leave anything out?
Yeah, I mean, there was just so many interesting parts of that, and you could see everyone's reactions when Christina was following, like with Gio's reaction, especially. And so, yeah, it seems like everyone, of course, understandably so, was a bit frozen in the moment. But yeah, it didn't seem to have like a lot of action there. And then even when Dante eventually confronted Ava, he pulled out a notebook but didn't write any notes.
Yeah, he didn't write any notes, nor did he have a partner with him to witness it. so, and then he arrested her and he cuffed her in the front. I don't know, maybe that's a new thing now. I don't know. But anyway, he cuffed her in the front rather than in the back. So, yeah, so just in, those were just the holes that I saw that kind of went on in the storyline itself. All right. And then my predictions, we both have talked about some predictions that are occurring. And one of the predictions that I kind of like to talk that you actually brought up, but I'm going to go with was was that Christina will live, but she's going to be told that she can't have any more children. And that is why she'll want to keep her child. And my other prediction is that she has a girl. Um, and then my prediction over that is that Molly and TJ will have to fight for custody of this child because Christina is going to want to keep her child if she's told that she can't have any more. Keep in mind, these are predictions. I did not read any of this. You mentioned one of them to me, Brandon, but these are just predictions that I have. Do you have any predictions about this particular storyline?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's certainly, I think, the most probable direction that this can go. And, yeah, like I said, with it being named a girl, I don't think anything, I hope nothing will happen to Christina. If it does, the baby will probably be named Christina or some variation, of that. And, yeah, we certainly are going to have a custody fight on our hands for that. Probably sooner as opposed to later. It's just a question of who initiates this because it seems like Molly and TJ are definitely not 100% on the same page right now. But
Mm-hmm.
with Christina being sort of out of the question at the moment in terms of consciousness, I'm not sure how much she will even remember or how much she may want the baby more than she previously did.
Yeah, yeah. So this will be interesting to see how this ends up. And then I'm going to go, and what I normally start with is some of the weekly highlights. So I'm just going to go over some of the weekly highlights that happened this week. First of all, Ava. Ava wants to find witnesses to testify for her, and she does subpoena Christina, with, of course, those results that did happen that we've talked about. Sonny. Sonny is very, very mad with Jagger, does not like him. And you could tell he's up to something. And so he does hire Brick to keep an eye on Jagger. And we thought that something menacing was going to occur. But what he really did was he hired Brick to take pictures of Ava and Jagger. And those pictures were also taken during the fight of, well, the argument rather, between Christina and Ava. Carly. Carly has been acquitted of all of her crimes because the evidence has kind of disappeared. No one quite knows who made this tape recording disappear. They suspect that Spinelli did it, but Spinelli did up front just say that he was not the one who did that. He said that even he, the jackal, could not make this disappear. Let's see. Jagger is just mad at the world and wants revenge on Sonny. And he wants everyone to go against Sonny, and he's doing everything he can and trying to convince people to do that. But right now, no one is actually taking him up on this. Let's see. Jason and Sonny together. Jason provides the truth to Sonny, but Sonny is still not happy and thinks he's been betrayed by Jason. And so they're still not on speaking terms, but Sonny did listen to what Jason had to say. TJ is just mad at the world. TJ's mad at Christina, and just because he doesn't like the way that Christina talked about or did not really speak about the baby on air during the interview. Um, Molly presented Christina with the terminate her parental rights agreement, And Christina did not like that and refused to sign it. When by the time Molly and Christina finished speaking, they were actually okay, or at least in my opinion, it looked like they were okay. TJ, on the other hand, does not think the same, but Molly and Christina were really okay at the end of that conversation. Later on that week, Molly does have conversations with her sister Sam, and they talk about all of that. And Sam tries to help her realize that, kind of see things a little bit from Christina's point of view. But and once more, that conversation ended okay. Lois and Sunny. Sunny wants to be the sponsor or be in, or at least to be the benefactor for a record, to be a record company for Brooklyn, which would help Blaze. And so Lois finds out about this, and Lois wants to ensure that the money is legal money and not Sunny illegal money that's backing this. And she even asked to see tax returns. And then Anna does find Brennan because he was missing as of last week. He was missing in action. And so she does find him. He is now back at the WSB in whatever in charge position that he did have. And everything that negative occurred with him has disappeared. And then last week, I forgot to mention something, and that was the reference to Erica Kane. Erica Kane was a character on All My Children for those people who watched that particular show, and she was a very important, influential person on that particular show. And so Nina was supposed to have a meeting with Erica Kane and had to cancel it. And so I just wanted to kind of mention that the character of Erica Kane was brought up. I don't know in future reference what this will do, but it was brought up. And Brandon, those are the highlights that I have. Did I leave anything out?
While it may not be necessarily a highlight, we do have this whole birthday party situation.
Oh yes, we had this birthday party for Wiley, in which Nina and Willow were very cordial to each other, and Carly was able to come back in the middle of this birthday party and tell all her friends that she was acquitted. I can't now frame wise is a little, which is intriguing. It seems as though the birthday party was taking place at the same time that took place of the Christina falling. However, the way they showed it, it did not. So, isn't I don't know. What are your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, and not only to mention that, but we saw the birthday party happen over 2 episodes, and so in the first episode, there's only aside from the birthday boy, there's only one other person at this birthday party, aside from Grandma Nina, and then in the next episode after the party already ended, apparently now all the children are here, which is interesting. But yeah, maybe the birthday party took place like early in the morning, of Christina following, and we're not even sure what the time frame of what time of day this is all happening. But yeah, so yeah, very low outcome birthday party, but then all the guests come, I guess, after the fact.
Yeah, really odd. So, anyway, so we'll talk a little bit of what we think the best storyline of the week is. And of course, I think this is the Christina and Ava storyline and the ramifications that can occur based upon this one storyline. Or do you have the same opinion, Brandon, for best storyline?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's definitely with Christina and Ava.
All right. And then best actor, I went for Christina this week.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt.
Alrighty, and fast forward moments. I think I said this last week, and I'm gonna say it again. TJ is my fast forward moment. TJ and his talk that he had with his mom, Jordan. I was very tired of his ranting and raving and everything like that. This is his child, regardless. So I was just tired of the ranting and raving that TJ kind of went on with, and it went on just way too long. Amusing scenes. There were two scenes this week that kind of stood out for me just for being amusing. And the first one had to do with Trina and Ava. And when Jagger came out from the shower, just the look on Trina's face, I thought was absolutely funny. And so, and the way Ava handled it too. So that amused me. And the other thing that amused me was the banter that went on with Carly and Diane at the court scene, as they were kind of, to me, kind of picking on some internal things for character wise that Carly just does. And so I thought that was kind of funny. Did you have any amusing scenes that you liked this week, Brandon?
Oh yeah, well definitely both of those are up there, and yeah, and I really loved what I said. Just the whole storyline of like I said, Carly. Not only from her getting arrested, but going to the courthouse and everything of that. Because just the way that she plays it is just really humorous at times, especially when her family is like, I don't. Like I don't know, like can you just not? Yeah, can you just listen to your lawyer? And so I thought that was just hilarious.
Yeah. And then and this is something that we've not talked about before, but a foreshadowing scene. So I gave us a new category, Brandon. And for me, the foreshadowing scene that, of course, that I did not pay attention to, but became important was the scene with Jagger and the luggage, because Jagger made a point of kind of almost tossing his luggage off to one side, and like I'll be back again tonight with Ava. And Ava, of course, at that time didn't pay that much attention to it, besides the fact that she's asked a question about the luggage, and so of course that foreshadowed Kristina falling. So, did you have another foreshadowing scene, Fran?
I think, I mean, overall, I would pick that one. And I will say, too, that I'm curious as for next week when we're going to next see Jagger, because I would personally like to see, his reaction to all of this, because even though, per se, he didn't, well, he definitely, of course, wasn't the one that pushed Christina off, so to speak. I mean, yeah, she sort of tripped on her own, but it was his luggage. So I would like to see whether it's like him trying to enter the Metro Court and seeing like it's a crime scene or getting a phone call or something. Because I'd like to see the little the reactions that they normally do before they switch scenes. So I hope it's not an off screen one.
Yeah. And then questions that I have for the upcoming for the upcoming week, of course, with Christina and whatever's going to happen with her and the baby. But then Brennan, because Brennan's now in the theme song, and I don't believe he was before, and so which means to me that means that there's extra storyline for Brennan to come for the future. And will that involve Carly, or is it involving WSB at some point? So I would just kind of like, because I just took him as just a side character, really, and not necessarily part of the main plot. And so to see that he's now in the theme song means that he will be part of some sort of true other storyline coming up.
Yeah, and speaking of those, those little theme song intros, is that I know we've been keeping track as to who, the last person is on those. And when I saw that it was Sunny for Thursday's episode, I knew something had to go down.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think was really, and we've never talked about this, but on Friday's episode it was Trina. And so when we first saw that, because I happened to be home on Friday, and we looked up and said, why Trina? Why not Christina? Why not one of her family members, but Trina? But of course, she's the one who saw Ava, so it made sense.
Yeah, it really did, and it's an interesting tracking these. Some makes make a lot of sense, and other ones like for Chase and Brooklyn's wedding, several weeks ago it was Curtis who I guess was showing off his new glasses.
Yeah, yeah. But we thank all of you all for joining us today.
Yeah, and we're so excited to continue with this as we go into week 6.
Yes. And so we look forward to seeing y'all for next week for the next Port Charles chat. Everyone have a great day.
Hey.
Bye bye.